Hello, and welcome to Larter Oasis, a 10-acre smallholding in the east of England.
10 acres that is slowly being rewilded and will eventually be left to a local wildlife trust, providing a home for nature and wildlife in perpetuity. Some people say you should not interfere with wildlife, let them get on with it. But we interfere all the time, negatively. If we should not help wildlife, then we should not affect wildlife detrimentally, like building on greenfield sites, new roads, ridiculous health and safety that encourages cutting down trees, cutting verges, the list goes on. It should not be a one-way street. So until that changes, we will offer any help we can to give nature a home. Wildlife is in decline, many species seriously so. Nest sites for wildlife are becoming increasingly rare for many reasons. They are constantly up against severe challenges, not only to find a home to raise young, but food to feed them too. Anything we can do to help in giving them a home means they have more time to find food. Food that is becoming scarcer. This ultimately gives wildlife a better chance to survive and replace their own numbers. They increasingly need a helping hand. In this video, we will be talking about where to position traditional nest boxes and installing a number of open-fronted nest boxes. These are used by slightly bigger birds such as robins, blackbirds, song thrushes, pied wagtails, and if you're lucky enough to have them in your area, grey wagtails and spotted flycatchers. And other birds too, of course, who will happily exploit all opportunities presented to them. Positioning, where do you position a nest box? As far as the aspect is concerned, where to face them, I like to go anywhere from north to southeast. The rule is try and keep it out of the way of direct sunlight, because the birds can suffer from suffocation and heat stress. So you want to make sure that it's not getting direct sunlight all day. If you're going to be facing another direction, maybe south-southwest. If it's in a shaded or well-sheltered situation, then maybe, yeah, that's not so bad. But as a rule of thumb, personally, I would always like to go between north and southeast. I always like to put my hole nest boxes, ones with the holes in them, I always like to put them anything between 2 and 3 metres above ground, if I can. If they're open nested, and I'll show you what I mean by that, or open faced, then I will do anything between 1 and 2 metres to keep them away from any predator friendly access, i.e. don't put them near a top of a fence where cats can come along and sit there and wait for the young birds to come out and then try to catch them that way. And I have seen cats do that, and they are a pain in the backside for it. The other thing to mention is position your bird boxes away from bird feeders, bird tables and bird baths. Birds that are nesting don't like to be in close proximity to other birds, and they would be close proximity to other birds all day long if you got your feeders out. I'm not saying don't feed your birds during the spring and the summer. I'd recommend feeding them all year round, but don't put your bird boxes near where you feed birds, near your feeding stations. Day 2. This is a different type of nest box. This is called an open fronted nest box. Well, it's not completely open, but it's half open, third open, depending on which box you buy. Woodstone, again, green. I'm going to be facing this kind of southeast. These open boxes can be used by robins, wrens, grey wagtails, pied wagtails, spotted flycatchers, blackbirds, song thrushes. They appeal to a lot of birds. Where to put them? The place to put these open fronted boxes is away from predators' eyes. So it needs to be in a sheltered kind of hidden area, a camouflaged area. And behind me, as you guys just step to one side, you can see there's plenty of ivy here. So I'm just going to try and tuck that underneath the ivy so there's some branches of the ivy hanging over. As you can see, not perfect, but it's still reasonably camouflaged, and as the years go on, this ivy will grow more and it will camouflage that nest box even more, so it's a good start. It's not far off the ground, but it doesn't need to be. Robins, if robins were going to use this, 1 to 2 metres is enough, and this is about 1.5 metres. Before we move on to install another open-faced, open-fronted nest box, just a quick mention of the final video on nest boxes. A Helping Hand Part 3. This is where we will be explaining the different specialist nest boxes available, and we'll be putting up 3 of them here at Larter Oasis. There is a starling box, but that can also be used if you have put the right chippings and things at the bottom of that can be used by woodpeckers. So, and if you pick the right area, so I'm going to give that a go and stick one of them up in the deer copse. But the other 2 boxes, there's a kestrel box, but that's made of wood. That's the only box I've got made of wood. That'll be going up, and also a tawny box. That's a wood stone box. The tawny box is mega heavy, so as far as the kestrel and the tawny box are concerned, I'm going to wait for Ben and Zach, the nephews, to come over. Hopefully it'll be this weekend, and then we'll get those 2 up, but I need them to get them 2 up. They're too heavy for me nowadays, especially that tawny. You'll see when I show it to you, you'll see what I mean. Anyway, back to now. This is another open nest box. This is half open, I'd say, at the front, where the other one was probably a third. This is a half, and more likely to be used by things like wrens, blackbirds, song thrushes and the like. But anyway, I'm going to put this up in deer copse. It will be facing south, which is something I don't normally do and I wouldn't recommend. But in here in deer copse, it is very, very shaded and unlikely to get any sun for most, if not all, of the day. Hanging in front of this box will be lots and lots of holly. Again, that will block out any direct sunlight. Okay, the box is installed. If I step away, I very much doubt if you'd be able to make it out. The other thing to say here is, while we're trying to hide these open boxes because they are more prone to predation by predators, the other thing is when you put your boxes up, try and stop yourself from going and keep checking them, because whilst you're keeping an eye on those boxes and you're watching them, you're drawing attention to them, to the predators. The predators will see what you're doing, and they will go and investigate as well. They're not stupid. Try and hold back on that curiosity. It killed the cat, you don't want it killing the chicks. This is another woodstone open nest box, as you can see, half open again, very similar to the other one, but I'm putting it to the other end of deer copse, and this one will be facing east. Not as camouflaged as I'd like it to be, but the ivy will get there. It's not going to stop growing, and it'll get more camouflaged as time goes on. So I'm still happy with that. Another type of open nest box. This one is considerably bigger, as you can see, and more probably suitable to things like blackbirds and song thrushes, should they want to use them. But again, other birds will use them as well. I'm putting this nest box about 10 metres away, just over, from the other open nest box I put up just a short while ago. It's recommended that you do at least 10 metres distance, and I'm trying to follow that rule. There's lots of birds here, and these kind of boxes, these open boxes, attracts a lot more different types of species. So there's a lot more different types of birds, so they're not going to be in direct competition. So one box could be used by a blackbird and another one could be used by a spotted flycatcher, but that would be nice, who knows. Over time, that ivy will grow and that'll camouflage that quite nicely. Yeah, I'm happy.
That's the end of day 2. There's a woodpecker, there's a kestrel, and then there's the tawny owl. I'm going to need help from my nephews with those. They're a little bit heavier. Hopefully that'll be this weekend, but I know young Zach is moving, or hoping to be moving to his new house, so we'll probably be all hands on deck and give him a hand first. But we'll have to wait and see. You know how these things go. But all being well, these kestrel and the tawny owl box will be up within a fortnight. While I've been standing here, I can hear some pops in the newt pan behind me. The newts coming up for a bit of air.
We've managed to put up 4 open-faced nest boxes this afternoon, so it's time to head home. Hopefully you'll join us on the 3rd and final video on nest boxes, called A Helping Hand Part 3 Specialist.
Thanks for watching.
Take care.
Bye for now.
Bye.